Hey, you guys. Welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. We appreciate you all joining us. So we're going to be talking about how much is your time actually really worth? And I'm curious as you're hopping on if this is something that you've spent some time figuring out.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving deep into what the purpose in figuring it out might be, and also the value it is for your business, being able to keep you motivated moving forward.
We're also going to give you a simple formula to figure it out if you don't know a way to figure out kind of the idea of what you're worth. So make sure you guys stay tuned in.
Yes. So if we have not met before, I'm Becky Graff.
And I am Tim Graff.
We help home business entrepreneurs leverage powerful online strategies to build the perfect business. And when you're building a business online, there's a lot of different things that can be distracting, pulling you from one location to another. And so really understanding what the value is of your time is really a necessary component as you start building out your DMO, as you're putting together a strategy, so that you're getting the most momentum and traction in your business possible.
Yep.
Okay. Tim and I, before we actually did, before we went through this exercise, we really found ourselves kind of spinning our wheels a lot, right? We were doing a lot of things.
We were definitely treating our business more like a hobby than we were actually treating it as a business.
Yes.
Simply because we were not putting that value on exactly when we were doing the tasks, when we were doing those things, we didn't know, having any idea of what that time, the value of that time was really worth, until we really went through this exercise. And then we went, wow,
and
are we really spending this time as effectively as we can be based on what we know now?
Yeah, because really, as you are building a business online, you may have yourself having a lot more time now, and maybe you've got different things that are going on. And so your time is a little bit stretched differently than what it possibly used to have been. But really, having clarity on what your time is worth is very eye-opening when you start thinking about where you're spending your time. We run up with a lot of people who love organic strategies, and I have nothing against organic strategies. We use some of those in our own business. However, it comes from a place of understanding or having clarity on how much your time is actually worth. Is the behavior that you're attempting to use organic strategies for, is it netting you the results in a way that is effective for your business, or is it actually causing a drain on your business? Okay, so that is really where we wanted to go with this today, is to talk about how much your time is actually worth. Okay, and I'm curious, how many of you have actually gone through this process? How many of you actually sat down and determined what your time is actually worth?
How much are you worth an hour? If you have done this exercise, if you kind of figured that out, like how much you are actually worth an hour, your time, the value that you're putting out, drop me a 1 in the comments, you guys. I'm curious if you have already figured that out. If you haven't, drop me a 2 in the comments, because we're going to actually, like we said, we're going to give you a little bit of an easy exercise to figure that out. And it's something that it's going to be extremely beneficial for you in moving forward in your business.
Yeah. So let's talk about your business then. Curious also, this is a lot of questions that we're going to be asking you for you to write down on your side. Make sure that you're documenting this, because it is
if you feel comfortable, drop it in the comments.
I would love for you to interact and put that there.
So
I'm curious, what is the result that you're looking for in your business? How much do you want to be making a year? Okay, this is kind of the first step, because if you're wanting to build a multiple six-figure business, there are going to be different things that will go into you creating that business. Okay, and this is where reasonability comes in. We're actually going to cover that on a different live. So for the purposes of this exercise, if I can speak, exercise, number 1, you got to determine, what does your annual result look like?
Yes.
How much do you want to be making every year?
Yep.
Okay, and from there, then we get to do some simple math and break it down. So for our example, we're going to use, let's say you wanted to make $120,000 a year.
Yep. A 6-figure business, $120,000 a year. Okay.
Now, this is really cool, because we have been talking about your lifestyle, how you want your life to look, how your business fuels your life on our previous lives. And this is where that piece comes in. If you want to make $120,000 a year, the question is how much time do you want to be working?
Exactly.
Okay. Do you want to be working 40 hours a week? Do you want to be working 30 hours a week? Or do you want to be working something like 20 hours a week? Your answer will change what your time is actually worth.
Exactly.
Okay. So for our purposes, $120,000 a year, I only want to be working about 20 hours a week. Okay. So breaking that down, Monday through Friday are the only days that I want to work.
Yep.
Okay. For our exercise, for this purpose of this example, okay, we're going to say $120,000 a year, 20 hours a week, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
Okay. So if you break that down, that means that you're going to be working 4 hours a day.
Yep.
Okay. How many of you would love to be able to make $120,000 a year working 4 hours a day?
Yep.
Monday through Friday, having your weekends free?
Sounds a lot better than going to a 9-to-5 job or a 12-hour job. If you're, I know in the corporate world, a lot of us are working those 10 to 12-hour days. Okay.
But again, this is the purpose of us taking the time to help walk this through, because again, it really brings you to a place of, okay, if I'm attempting to build a 6-figure business, but I really only want to work 4 hours a week, are the things that I'm spending my time on reasonable? Are they helping me develop the skills that I need to be able to?
4 hours a day?
Nope. Yes. 4 hours a day.
She said 4 hours a week. I'm just making sure she
4
was...
hours a day, 20 hours a week. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Is that reasonable for you to hit your target based on your current skills and what your DMO looks like?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you really got to get specific on how you're spending that time. And that's where this is going to be extremely helpful, is knowing how much you're worth an hour is really going to be beneficial on those. You start looking at those 4 hours a day that you're working and going, okay, it's the tasks that I'm doing, really money-making activities that are going to move me to that $120K a year.
Yeah. So if you want to make $120,000 a year working 20 hours a week and 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, that means that your time is worth $125 an hour. Yeah.
So that's taking $120,000, okay, dividing it out by 12. Okay, so go to 12 months, which breaks it down to $10,000 a month. Okay. And then if you divide that out by the 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, that ends up being $6,000. Well, sorry. Yeah. So
it's $125 an hour.
It's,
okay. If you do the math.
I did
numbers.
20,000 a year divided by 12 is 10. Okay. That's 10,000 a month. And then if you break that down by 5 days a week, that's 6. And then if you break that down by the 4 hours a day, it's $125 an hour.
Okay. So now that we know, okay, or now that you know, based on your own calculations, how much your time is worth, let me ask you this. Are you using your time effectively? Okay. Is it cost effective what you're focused in on? And I'm not talking just about your business behaviors. Okay. Sending out those friend requests, sending those copy paste messages, okay, working your DMO, but also, how else are you spending your time? If you're attempting to build a business right now and you're spending 4 to 5 hours a day binge watching Netflix, how expensive is that habit?
Yeah.
And how is that moving you forward? Okay. Are you making money doing that activity? Are you learning skills that are going to help progress you forward in your business? Are you letting off steam? Okay. Some people do it. That's totally cool. Okay. But again, understanding and having clarity on the value of your time based on the result that you want to have can really help you start prioritizing where you're spending your time. Okay. So I'm curious from you, if you knew and you cognitively recognized that for every hour of Netflix that you watched that you were losing $125, how many of you would be spending multiple hours watching? I'm just curious. It's an honest question. For me, I'll be frankly honest. There's some days that it's worth $125 for me to be able to decompress and step away from my business. However, on the flip side of that, if I know that I have certain tasks I need to do, if there's certain emails that I need to write, or there's certain other things that I need to do to develop my skill set, I have to value that, right? I have to kind of weigh which one is going to move me closer to what I'm looking for, which one is moving me farther away, and evaluate that, knowing that $125 an hour, that's an expensive movie. Yeah. Right? It honestly is. But on the flip side of that, an hour with my kids is worth a lot more than that.
Yes.
Okay. So you're using your value, how much your time is actually worth, to help you really prioritize your tasks. Are you focusing in on money-making activities? Are you doing those things? Are there maybe some other skills that you could invest your time in to learn so that you can get more traction in your business? Okay. So these are some questions that you might ask yourself, knowing what you know now about how much your time is actually worth.
Exactly.
And I'm curious, would you do things differently, or would you do them the same that you currently are now? Okay. And that's a very personal question because for each of us, it's going to be a little bit different. However, I know for Tim and I, when we went through this first exercise and we realized that our cost per hour was a lot more than $125, we went, ooh, okay, maybe we need to start identifying which tasks and behaviors need to be done in what order, and also which things maybe we are choosing to focus in on a little bit more so that we have more leverage so that we can work within the time frame that we want, but still hit the results that we want.
Exactly.
Okay, without having so much pressure on us from an hourly perspective.
Yep.
Okay, is this making sense for you guys? Let me know in the comments if this is making sense. If you can see the value, understanding how much your time is worth can be for you and your business.
It's also extremely important because not only for the aspect of how you're spending the time, but when you understand that you're worth $125 an hour. Okay, for this example, or whatever yours ends up being, okay, you really start to take you pay more attention to the content that you're putting out. Okay, you're more postured when you're on those calls with people. You're more postured when you're on your Facebook Lives. Okay, everything just seems to shift when you realize that this is the value of the content that I am putting out there. Okay. And it helps you raise that skill level, and, everything just raises to that bar. Yeah. And so, it helps you step into that better or best version of yourself.
Yeah. Because again, when a lot of us get started, and again, this is Tim and I are talking from experience here, you guys. Okay. We're sharing with you part of our journey where we went. Yep. When we started, it was anybody and everybody. Let's just talk to anybody and everybody. It wasn't until we realized that who we wanted to talk to and those that we wanted to work with actually were, taking up a lot of our time. Yeah. Okay. And in the beginning, we're not very qualified to start with.
We were spending a lot of time in Messenger. We were spending a lot of time on Zoom calls with people that were not even qualified or that we really were spending just a lot of time, extra time that really didn't need to be spending on people that really weren't that interested. They were kind of kicking the tire, so to speak. They were tire kickers, and we weren't qualified down to these people are serious about working with us.
And so the shift that happened for us is we had clarity for the first time in our business at this point. And this has been about 1.5 years ago, you guys, just to put some time perspective on that, us spending 45 minutes to an hour on a Zoom call with somebody who was not interested in what we had to offer at that point was not helping our business. In fact, it was just like we'd opened up the window or driving down the freeway and we're just holding money out the window. Okay. Because we were not talking to people who were pre-qualified. So we made a shift. We decided, okay, knowing what we know now, knowing what we know our time is worth, knowing what we want to create and the results that we want in our business, how can we actually sift and sort so that we can have more qualified people, okay, hopping on those calls? Exactly. So that when we hop on and have that conversation, it is a higher level conversation. Yeah. It is a conversation with somebody who would invest, right, the X amount of money that our time is worth. Okay.
And when you start using attraction marketing skills, when you actually have leverage systems in place, then those people are pre-qualifying themselves before you even end up getting on a conversation with them, a Zoom call, all of those kinds of things. So once they are finally to that point of getting on a conversation with you, they have already said yes a few times. And so they are pre-qualifying themselves, and they're qualified to, at that point, when you get on that call, they've already said yes to you a few times. So you already know that they are really interested in what you're talking about and what you're doing. And it just makes those conversations and spending that time a lot more effective for you.
Yeah. Again, this is about you creating the perfect lifestyle business, working the amount of hours that you want to, as many days a week as you want to hit the results that you want in your business, to make the impact that you want, to inspire those around you, to build the team, to cultivate the culture. Okay. All of those things that you want to have. Identifying how much your time is actually worth will help you really put in perspective where you need to spend your time.
Exactly.
All right, you guys, we appreciate you being on. Thank you for the hearts and loves that came through. Appreciate that. Looks like our comments were not working today. So if you made the comments, we'll definitely go back through and get those. You guys, we appreciate you every single moment that you guys spend with us. We greatly appreciate so that we can give back. We've learned a lot over the last couple of years how to streamline our business and make it more effective. And it is our goal and our purpose to be able to share that with you. So again, we definitely appreciate you hopping on our lives and spending some time with us. So
you guys, be curious, be bold, take action, and remember that it is choice, not chance, that shapes your life.
All right, you guys, and make sure you join us here tomorrow. We are going to be going live again at 5 p.m. Mountain, which is 7 Eastern. And we're going to be talking about the number one source of the biggest drain on your business. Okay, so make sure you join us here tomorrow at 7 Eastern as we go through that training. Again, have a wonderful evening, and we appreciate you being on with us tonight.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.